Oh no, 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 no. Oh no. Oh my god, there's so much to study. Oh no. And then for the final results, 100% is only for the exams. Why can't they take anything from my assignments, from my projects that I've been doing all this time? Oh, this is so stressful. Don't you guys feel frustrated if all of our assignments can be, calculated for our final exams? Yeah. Don't you guys feel very frustrated if only our examinations can determine our final results?
Yes.
So that's why today my topic is about coursework versus exams. And here I would like to say that I agree that lecturers and students, that lecturers and teachers should give students coursework, which is projects, assignments, and assessment throughout their education days. Alright. So first of all, do you know the differences between examination and coursework?
Yes.
So
No.
okay, so for those who don't know, let me explain a little bit about the differences. So basically, examination is an assessment which we will be evaluated based on our memorization and knowledge in an examination, in a test, in a room that we were given a certain amount of time to answer every questions regarding our lessons, right? However, courseworks are actually assessments that includes projects, assignments, or assessments, or everything else that is related to our coursework, but that is not included in our final exam. So here I would like to say that coursework is actually very important for our education life, especially since we are in college now, right? Since next year we are going to be in a degree in a real university. So we should know that actually coursework takes a lot of, that coursework actually gives a very big impact for our education, for our final results. Okay, so first of all, the first argument that I would like to mention is about the attendance and our grading system. So as we can see, for our examinations, if we did not attend to the examination, we have very low chances of being able to receive the exam, right? Especially when it comes to very important exams like the final examinations, the SPM, UPSR, right? We can't receive those kind of examinations because it will make everything more complicated. So that is where coursework actually helps us, because in coursework we know that it will help us carry marks, right? It will help us carry marks to the final exam. So it can actually help cover for us not being able to attend the final exam. So, for the next thing, so we know that the attendance is very important, right? But in coursework does not require 100% of our attendance, since the most important thing about coursework is being able to submit it at the given amount of time. And for the grading, coursework actually sees the overall performances of what we do in our project. For our progress, since the first day we started our project until the day we submit our project. However, for the examinations, they will only evaluate on how we do in that particular examinations. They don't think whether we have prepared or not, whether we are an excellent student or not, right?
Yes.
So that is how important coursework is more than examination itself. So the next thing is we should know that for the grading system, usually exams are very strict with their grading systems, right? Because they will, if they say this statement is correct, then only this statement will be accepted. If this statement is wrong, then they will not accept this statement, right? But for our coursework, as we know, not all students can memorize the whole thing perfectly, right? Not all students have the great ability to memorize everything from the book. So in coursework, students who doesn't have that ability to be able to study as much, they can use their other abilities on other things, such as talking to other people, communicating, like finding information on things, so that they can put all of this in their coursework and actually help bring their grade up by their coursework, even though they can't excel well in their examinations. So for my next point is the quality of our work. So in examinations, we know that when we are going to face an exam, for example, tomorrow we have an exam on social studies, right? And another example, this afternoon we have an examination for ITL, right?
Yes.
So, and have all of us actually studied everything? No, right? And we are somehow unprepared. We are somehow still very nervous on how we are going to answer, how we are going to face this test, because it is going to be evaluated and calculated in our final exams. In our final results. I'm so sorry. And as you can see, we will be very nervous, and even though we studied as much as we can, due to the nervousness inside of us, it can actually affect the way we answer those questions, right? It can actually affect our memorization, because when we are nervous, after we see the question itself, you can actually feel like, oh my, did I actually study this? Oh, I studied this, but what is it? I forgot about it. But all of us must have gone through those kind of situations, right?
Yes.
So that's why for coursework, we actually, you know that in coursework we have been given a long amount of time, for example, like a few weeks or a few months to actually finish a project, a mini project, or some kind of assignments. And we can see that due to the long amount of time we have been given, we can actually use those time to gather more information, to study more about our topic, to be able to understand more what we have to do for our topic, and it can actually improve our performance on doing our coursework. And by doing that, it can actually help us study more for our final exam. Don't you think?
Yes.
For example, in business studies, we have learned about marketing plan, we have learned about doing cash budgets, and all of those are actually in our syllabus. And by learning how to do that in our marketing plan, at the same time, we have studied for our final exam. We have understood better. So for our final exam, when we see those kind of questions, we will think, oh, I have done this for my marketing plan. I know how to do this. So it will be easier for us to study, and it will be easier for us to answer the questions in our final exam. Okay, so for my next point. Okay, so as we know, as students, we must excel in our exams. If we can excel, we must at least not fail in our subjects, right? Because if we fail our subjects, we have high chances of repeating the subjects in the next semester or in our last semester. Or even worse, we might have to extend our last semester just because we failed one simple subject. So through that, coursework actually, coursework are actually helping us by getting more marks. It actually can help us getting more points for our final results. Because as you can, for example, one of the examples that I can use is for social studies. You know that 60% of our final results are based on our mini project, right? And 40% of our final results are based on our exams. So we can see that even if there is one of the tests that we can't excel well, that we can't do well, that we actually failed, the coursework that we have done before can actually help cover up that percentage, and it can actually help us to be better for our final results. How many times have I mentioned that word actually? Okay.
It's about time.
Okay, so, and actually I have done my points, so is there anyone that would like to refute? Would like to refute me on my topic? Yeah.
Okay, if the students are being evaluated fully from the assignments, don't you think the plagiarism will be higher?
Okay, so thank you, Mariam, for asking that question. So, yes, I would like to say that plagiarism might be higher, which, as I had stated before, lecturers and teachers should do more assignments, not stop the examinations itself. The examinations are still important for us. However, the assignments, the courseworks are actually just to help us for our final exams, because for primary school or secondary school, I don't really know how to explain for their courseworks, especially since our PT3 has been years ago. So in college, I can see that most